But then if you're just doing it for the money, then you'll just chase the money and work for those people. So you'll work around their times and not your times. And what you'll realize is you actually have no time for yourself because you're working on everybody else's time. So when you build yourself up and you establish yourself, you've got to remember one of the main reasons why you got into this, because I want to take control of my time. I want to take control of my life. So once you remember that, then you can pick and choose the hours as long as you're happy with the income that you're earning.
From now on, just clap. How are we doing? What time do you wake up?
Usually Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 5 a.m.
Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. So every other day you sleep in?
Not sleeping. It depends what you call sleeping. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, I wake up at like 7:30, and then Saturday, Sunday about 8.
What time do you go to bed?
Bro, man, that's the problem. About 12. I'm trying to
make it earlier.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it earlier. Like I've been listening to one book on why we sleep and the importance of sleep, and trying to just follow that guide and turn off TVs.
Amazing book.
Yeah. So
It dives into the educational side of sleeping, the rest side of sleeping.
Yeah.
Amazing.
There's so many different sides of it, like REM sleep and all
REM
that.
sleep,
Yeah.
Where your dreams come to life. It's just the very end of your sleep when you're in deep sleep.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I think young students should read that book, because if I read that book, I would have probably left school with better GCSEs.
100%. Because the thing is obviously with this whole entrepreneur life, like it's sold as like, oh yeah, you sleep when you're dead, or there's no time to sleep and this, that, or the other, and not realizing that, you know, people, you think that, oh yeah, all these entrepreneurs, they're up till like 3 a.m. and then they're up at 5 a.m. starting work and this, that, or the other. But the reality of it is all you're going to be is a tired entrepreneur. Your brain can't function properly. Yes. And the health benefits of sleep are so important later on down the life. Obviously, lack of sleep can lead to like early onset dementia and Alzheimer's and this, that, or the other, because of your brain. It affects your brain. So for you to be able to function properly, you need adequate and enough sleep.
The importance of sleep, ladies and gentlemen. That was Marcus, the PT. Like he's how many hats you got? You got PT.
Oh man, PT, property entrepreneur,
gym owner, actor. We're gonna dive into that.
I used to be an actor.
Last time you came, I missed that. All right,
I used to do acting.
That, and everyone watched that show. Please tell us.
Grange Hill, yeah. So I used to be on Grange Hill many years ago when I was 12, 13. Yeah, I stopped doing it when I was I think I was 13. I stopped doing it as soon as I hit like teenage years. But I used to go to acting school when I was a kid. I used to go to Sharon Harris Agency. And I done little odd bits and pieces here and there. But then I got casted in Grange Hill as Michael Henderson. And I never used to go to school. I used to go to school 1 day a week. And the rest of the time you get tutored in Elstree and Bournemouth Studios. So to me, it was just the norm, you know, and I used to have to start early as well. You'd be at the studio from early. When you're not on set, you'd be in the green room or you'd be tutoring, like getting your work done. But literally, I used to have lunch and dinner with like the same cast from EastEnders, whoever was on Top of the Pops, the Kilroy Show. Do you remember the Kilroy Show?
Yes.
Yeah. So we used to pass paths all the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But then, again, I think what happened was the lack of discipline, like because it was just a norm for me. As soon as you hit becoming like 13, 14, you start experiencing new things, like obviously girls, and hanging out is a bit more cool than obviously going to acting school. You don't realize what you have in front of you. You just think, oh, do you know what? I'm tired of this now. Actually, hanging out is more cool. Linking girls is better, and this, that, or the other. And then I just fell out of it. So
listen, at least you had the opportunity.
Yeah.
And not only that, you then rediscovered yourself, and now you are in full control.
Yeah, 100%.
Of whatever it is you do. So lack of discipline when you was younger, and I'm assuming that led to personal training help you realize you need more discipline. And the times you wake up, 5 o'clock, it's not an easy wake up time for your average person.
Yeah. So the 5 a.m. wake up times, I'm not a morning person, but the 5 a.m. wake up times is because obviously I have an early morning client, and you know I've done the graveyard shifts before when I first entered into personal training. You know, you have to be at the gym before people are going to work, so you got to get there at 6 a.m. and be there between 6 and 9 a.m. and then you have to stay late because obviously you want to catch the people that are coming to the gym and using the gym after they finish work. So I've done all that, and then I kind of took control of it. Once I established myself as a PT, you can kind of take control of your own time, because the thing is what you don't realize is when you're studying to become a PT, it's sold to you as like, yeah, you know, work your own hours, earn as much money as you want, this, that, or the other. That's how it's sold to you. But the reality is, like, if you pick and choose your own times on when you want to start work and finish work as a newly qualified PT, you will not earn any money at all. You won't get any clients, you won't earn any money. So you've got to be there, putting the hours in, making sure that obviously you're around all day long so that you're engaging with everybody in the gym. And then once you establish yourself, then you can take full control of your hours and decide the hours that you want to do. Right, I'm only doing mornings, or I'm only doing evenings, or I'm only coming in at this time, blah, 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 etc. It all depends on you, but you can't get suckered in and sucked into the fact that it's your own business. You're self-employed. So self-employed means you pick and choose when you decide to work. Even though you're providing a service for people, a lot of the time you're running on their time, because obviously they go to work, they want to train in the evening. But then if you're just doing it for the money, then you'll just chase the money and work for those people. So you'll work around their times and not your times. And what you'll realize is you actually have no time for yourself because you're working on everybody else's time. So when you build yourself up and you establish yourself, you've got to remember one of the main reasons why you got into this, because I want to take control of my time. I want to take control of my life. So once you remember that, then you can pick and choose the hours. As long as you're happy with the income that you're earning, you can pick and choose the hours that you want to do. And that's exactly what I do now. So although I've done the graveyard shifts, I stopped. And now I've just come back into doing the graveyard shift at the 6 a.m. and the 5 a.m. start. But it's only an exception for the one person that I train. And that's because they pay me very good money to do it. And because training him can lead me to somewhere else.
And I'm assuming you put yourself in a position where you can demand that and you can pay that extra, because he's now sought after you. He said, I want you to man.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, when he first said to me, you know, I want to train at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., no way, hell no, I don't do those times anymore, no way. And then, you know, he was like, you know, this is what time I need to train, because obviously his business that he runs starts early. And then you just kind of say, well, okay, if you want me to train you at that time, it's unsociable hours, so I will charge an unsociable fee, which is
a lucrative unsociable fee.
Yeah, there you go. It has to be worth my while.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to come to FK Studio to record anything after unsociable hours, please come along. We will charge you an unsociable fee.
There you go.
That makes a lot of sense. And you put yourself in that position. A lot of people attribute that to luck. It's not luck. You put yourself in that position. So well done to you. More importantly now, the property investments sides of you. Can we tag in? You remember WWF?
Yeah.
You know, the day I found out WWF was fake, my heart was broken.
I think everyone's heart was broken at that age, you know, because you think that it's so real. The entertainment side of it was really good, like the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
Earthquake and Typhoon, the Nasty Boys, all of these people, you know. Do you remember
and
those?
when I found out it was fake, watching it after, you could see how obvious I was like, but anyway. So you tag yourself in the property developer, investor, entrepreneur. What would your title be on the property side of things?
Property investor. So not yet a developer. There's a slight difference between a developer and an investor. And a developer is someone who looks at basically developing new builds or new, like you get a piece of land and you want to put a new development in that area. That would be a developer. That would be like the next level.
So building from this ground up,
yeah, and then selling on for a profit.
Unsociable hours profit, I'm assuming. So you're an investor. How hard is it to become an investor?
Do you know what? It's as hard as you make it, to be honest with you. Like I went to school. I was kind of considered like the class clown in school. Like I didn't study at home. I'd read books. Me read books? No way. I didn't read any books. I always had the potential to be better than obviously what I was. But, you know, at that age, to be honest with you, the only thing I was interested in doing was like hanging out, being cool and linking girls. That's it. That is all I was interested in doing. You know, in my mind, though, I always knew that there was a greater purpose for me, and I didn't just want to work for somebody for X amount of wage, you know, but you actually have no plan. Well, I had no plan on what I was going to do. I didn't go to university. So for me, it was like, okay, I haven't gone to uni. I don't have a degree. So I'm not going to get a high flying paid job. You know, I'm not going to walk into a job earning 60 grand plus a year, you know, and it's only like since 2000 and when was it? 2017, back end of 2017. I said, you know what? The penny dropped and I was like, how am I going to get out of this? Like, what am I going to do? You know, although I'm okay with like obviously personal training, what's the next level for me? You know, and how can I get out of this comfort zone that I'm in and kind of go to the next level? And I looked at property, and when I was younger, I said before, you know, you see people that are in property and you think, oh, just because they own their own house, they must have money, which is not true at all, you know. So I started reading. The first book that I picked up was in the back end of 2017. I started reading about property and understanding how the game works, you know, and understanding the investing side of it, you know, because it's one thing to buy a property, a residential property for yourself, but you're not actually an investor, you know. So how do I invest? How do I make my money make me money to make me more money? And that's when I started to understand it. So like I said to you, to your original question, how hard is it? It's as hard as you make it. If you're willing to put in the learning hours, then you can learn and apply what you've learned and put it into action. If you're just going to learn for the sake of learning, then you're going to make it hard for yourself because you're going to have all the knowledge and no action. And that doesn't change the world, or that doesn't change your position. All the knowledge in the world doesn't change your position. You need to put that knowledge to action.
That's true. And I believe one way to grow for the better is education. Education doesn't necessarily mean go to school, go to uni or college before uni. It could just simply mean just invest time and find the resources to dive into whatever it is you want to do. Either read, you could even watch a film. You could learn from watching a film. You can go to the University of YouTube, which everyone's on it, University of Uncle Google. So there's many ways, but you have to go out and seek out the information to get to wherever it is you want to go.
Yeah, 100.
And one of the most daunting things in order to investing in properties or owning any properties is offset. Your average person think, no, I don't have enough money. You are here to tell us the secrets on how we can get in and how much little money can one have to get into the property world.
Yeah, I mean, you see, this is the thing. When you start learning about property, you know, if you know nothing about property, you only know what you know. So you only know that the side where you think, oh, I need to raise X amount of deposit, whether it be 10% or 25% for a buy-to-let. You need to raise that much capital for you to be able to get into property. But that's not true. Like, obviously, you do need some kind of money to get into property, but there's so many different strategies which I was unaware of before I started learning. There's so many different property strategies to get into, right? Yeah? For example, there's a strategy that I do currently at the moment, which is called rent to rent, right? I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's essentially, this is for the people that struggle to raise the capital and get put off by the fact that, okay, let's take a property, I don't know, £100,000, which you're probably never going to find in London. Anyway, you probably wouldn't even find a garden shed for that price. But what's 25% of £100,000? That's 25 grand. Do most people have 25 grand to put up for a property? The answer will be no. They have to save a very long time to make that 25 grand, right? So if that's in your head and you're thinking that you already feel like you're defeated, like it's impossible to raise that money to get into property. Hence the reason why people are like saying, oh, well, you need money to get into it. No. So let me bring you back to the strategy that I was talking about, rent to rent. Now, the rent to rent strategy is basically a strategy where you take full control of that property. So you become the tenant. So for example, say you're the landlord of a property that has, I don't know, let's say 5 bedrooms, right? Take 5 bedrooms now. And you own this property. I approach you and I say to you, listen, okay, Francis, I want to rent this property off you for X amount of money. I'll be your tenant, but I'm going to then rent it out to my own tenants, right? Yeah. So professional tenants, right? But I'm going to rent it out on a room by room basis. If you're happy with that, right? Yeah. You as the landlord, and you're happy that I'm giving you a set rent every single month that you're happy with, then you'd be like, okay, cool. That sounds like okay. Now, you have nothing to do with the property anymore, Francis. This is a total hands-off investment for you, right? Yeah. So I'm your tenant. I'm going to pay you the agreed rent every single month, guaranteed without fail for, I don't know, let's say 3 years, right? Now, for you, you could be like, do you know what? That sounds too good to be true. I've got a tenant that's going to be in here for 3 years. He's going to pay me every single month without fail. So that means I'm going to have no void periods, and I don't have to manage the property myself. He's going to manage the property. Now, so long as you're okay with that, it works for me. So now me, who don't have any money, I then take control of the property. I sign an agreement with you, a management agreement with you, and then I find my own tenants. And now what I do is, let's say, for example, you want, I don't know, let's say £1,000, yeah, per month. Obviously, we're just talking examples, right? Yeah, to make it easy. You want £1,000 a month for the property. Okay, no problem, Francis. I give you £1,000 a month for the property. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rent out that room rent out that house on a room by room basis. Now, I'm going to charge per room, right? So now let's say again, I charge £500 per room.
That's
right?
1,500 profit a month, ladies and gentlemen.
So, how much money did I really need to have to get into that strategy? Probably just the first month's rent, which obviously as a tenant, I would be expected to pay you. Yeah. So the first month's rent would be £1,000. People can save £1,000 working in a normal job, right? If I'm going to decorate the property and make it a little bit more spookier, a little bit more modern, then maybe I might, I don't know, it depends. It could vary anywhere between £1,000 to £5,000, however much you want to put in. But it's a lot less than £25,000 or £30,000 or £40,000. Then there you go. Now you're in the property game. You're earning money off a property that you don't even own. So now, if you're making a £1,500 profit every single month from a property that you don't own, right? Yeah, that's generating you money.
And you're not doing anything.
What are you doing?
You're just checking it out.
There you go. You might have to deal with a few tenant inquiries or tenant issues from time to time, but
at £1,500, I'll park outside. Whatever issue they have, I'm right upstairs. How can I help you?
There you go. Now, the thing is if you're earning £1,500 off of that one property, imagine you had 5 of them doing the same thing for you. How much is that? You do the maths, right? Yeah. That's how much you're going to be earning every single month. Now, imagine you earn that every single month for 12 months. You've raised the capital that you needed to buy your own property. So you're using someone else's property to help make you raise capital to buy your own property so you could then get into home ownership. But you're still in the property game.
Wow. How hard is it to find people who are willing to allow you to take hold of their house? And once you find the house, finding tenants is another issue. How hard is that also?
I'm not going to lie to you. It is quite challenging, but as long as you build your personal brand, it's all about personal brand. If you build your personal brand to the point where you do what you say you're going to do, because this is the thing with property. Property is a people's game. So it's about who you know. Because you as a landlord, right, yeah, you actually might be a landlord that is an investor as well. So you buy multiple properties, look to rent them out as single lets, right, yeah? So now I take that property off of you, right? I've built a good relationship with you. Yeah, do you know what? Marcus is all right. He's actually paid me every single month. He's given me no issues for the last year or 2 years, right? I've got 5 more properties that I would love for him to take hold of as well, because you know what? It's no headache for me. There you go. You've just given me 5 more properties to take control of. So it's a little bit of luck in one sense, because obviously it's about who you know. And if you know the right people, then they can give you the good deals, right? But at the same time, you do need to put in the work. You need to be on Rightmove. You need to be on Zoopla. You need to be on these platforms, these property platforms, actively seeking out potential properties that you feel will do good, making sure that you're doing your due diligence on the area, right? There's no point taking control of a property that ain't gonna let out, that has no use for anyone to, like, nobody has no use to live in that area. So make sure you do the due diligence on the area, on the property, making sure that you know how to run your numbers and your figures, that you're running it in a way that you're guaranteed going to make a profit, you know, because there's no point taking hold of a property if it's going to cost you money. You've just shot yourself in the foot, basically.
Wow. That's amazing. As you were speaking, my mind was racing 360 miles per hour, thinking, who do I know can sublet their property to me? I'm going to call you. I've got a few people I'm going to phone you. And don't say no.
You see, just exactly how I've just got your mind and I've sparked it, right? Yeah. Already you're sitting down and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I know people that own property, but who do I know that will give me control of their property for a guaranteed rent? You see, already your mind is thinking, and the more and more you think like that, is the more and more you'll start speaking to more and more people and be like, oh, actually, do you know what? My aunt has a 4-bedroom house that maybe she'll give to me for just a lower below market rent that she normally wants to say, like she normally wants £1,000, but maybe she'll give it to me for £800 and it's guaranteed and I can take control of her property, you know, and put everyone else in there. But remember, you do need the right and correct contracts in place because subletting is illegal. You're essentially subletting the property, but you're doing it in a legal way, right? So you're taking hold of the property on a management agreement contract between you and the landlord, that the landlord knows that you're taking this property off them, and you're then going to let it back out to your own tenants.
So what he's basically saying, ladies and gentlemen, do not go out there and rent yourself a house and the very next day or next week bring in a whole bunch of new people in there. Please seek permission from the landlord and make sure you have the paperwork in play. Without paperwork, you're leaving yourself open to lawsuit, and you could get yourself in a lot of trouble for trying to get out of trouble. Am I correct?
100%.
Boom. 10 out of 10. Ching, ching. So that's one way. Mm-hmm. What's the other way?
Deal sourcing, again, this goes back to what I said to you earlier, where not having that much money to get started in property. Deal sourcing is another strategy that you can use to use it as a stepping stone to get yourself involved in property. So, for example, this is how deal sourcing works. Deal sourcing is simply, okay, Francis, you have 0 time on your hands. Yeah, you're a property investor. You have no time on your hands whatsoever to be on Rightmove, be on Zoopla, be on all these platforms to look for properties, right? Yeah, because you're too busy doing what you're doing, right? Yeah, in your everyday life. So me, I have all the time in the world to do these things. And how am I going to monetize this, right? How am I going to make money from looking for a property for you? I'm going to package this property. So you'll tell me exactly what it is you're looking for, the needs. So for example, the must-haves and the must-nots, right? Yeah. So for example, right, Marcus, I want a 2-bedroom property, has to be within 15-minute walking distance to a train station, to an underground train station. It has to have a back garden, whatever. And I'm looking for a 7% return on my money, right? Yeah. So now you've told me everything that you want. I go away. I do all the graft for you. So for example, I'll go on to Rightmove, Zoopla. I'll start looking. Okay, I found a 2-bedroom. It's 15 minutes walking distance away from the train station. Okay, it's ticking all the boxes that Francis wants. Oh, hold on. Let me run the figures. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, it achieves 7% yield every single year, right? Yeah, or it might do 6.5, or it might do 7 and a bit, which is even better, right? Now, what I do is I package that deal, right? Yeah, package it together to make it look nice. So everything is laid out in front of you so that when I send it to you, you know exactly what you're looking at. It's not complicated. It's just simple, broken down picture of the property. All the specifics that you ask for is in that package. I package it to you, say, yeah, okay, do you know what? Let me run it. It works. I want this. Now you then go ahead and do what you're doing with your mortgage broker to get the lending on the property, or whether you're going to buy it in cash or whatever. You say, yeah, you want this deal. You go and do it. I now charge you a fee, a finder's fee or a sourcing fee, right? Yeah, for doing that for you. So it's whatever I decide to charge you for my services. That could be anything from £1,000 to £4,000. It all depends on what I decide I want to charge you for.
And that would be good for the young ones because they got time, because the deal sourcing is primarily someone who don't have time. They're too busy with whatever it is they're doing. So you go out there, you learn, and then you find it for them.
100%. And the thing is most of the most rich people and like wealthy people, that's what they lack. They lack time, right? Yeah. So they don't want to be at home doing all this, that, or the other. If they can offset that, that's called leveraging. They're offsetting what would cost them time that they can't get back, which if it's costing them time, then essentially, it's costing them money because it's not an income generated activity. Looking for a property in their eyes is not an income generating activity. They can use that time to be doing something else where they're earning more money, and then they just pay you. They're happy to pay you. That's how everything's built, off of systems. Yeah, I have a guy that finds the properties that I want. He knows exactly what I'm looking for. I've told him he knows exactly what I'm looking for. He presents me with 5. I narrow it down to like 2, and then I make a choice. Boom, that's me. That's what I want. And then as a 16-year-old kid or a 17-year-old kid, you're building and you're monetizing your skills by using the computer. Because let's face it, most of these kids, they're on their iPhone more time that they're not, right? Yeah. So what are you doing with your iPhone? Is your iPhone using you, or are you using your iPhone?
That's beautiful.
Other way is you can do it the traditional way, where obviously you will just save up the 25% deposit that you need for a buy-to-let property. You can do it yourself by saving. If you started saving from a young age, or if you're earning good money where you can save, and then just put down the 25% deposit. Other ways, you can use other people's money. I mean, again, sit down, think about who you know that has money. Okay, do you know what, Francis, you got some money. What are you doing with your money? Oh, nothing, man. It's just sitting in the bank. Okay, how much money are you earning? How much are you earning? How much interest are you earning off that money that's in the bank? Boy, I don't even know, Let me have a check. You look at your bank and you see how much interest you're earning. Oh, yeah, they're giving me less than 1%. Less than 1% for 50 grand that's sitting in your bank. That's pennies, right? So how about this, Francis? How about you borrow me that 50 grand and I will give you back, I don't know, let's say 4% every single year. How does that sound to you? Or 5% off of your 50 grand every single year. How does that sound to you? Your 50 grand is still there, but give it to me. I'm going to use it for this purpose, which is to buy a property. And off the back end of that, I'm going to give you 5% return on your money, and I'll give you back your money in, 5 years' time or 3 years' time.
That could work.
There you go.
Do you know what? Me and you're going to have that conversation after the show, You open the bank accounts. And so one of the problems, people understanding mortgages, we spoke about mortgages a little bit. One of the problem we have is we got mortgage and we've got mortgage brokers. What is a mortgage broker?
So a mortgage broker is essentially the middleman, or the middle person between you, the buyer, and the banks, which is the lender, right? Yeah. So you can have an in-house mortgage broker, which is the in-house bank. So say, for example, you walk into, let's say Halifax, right? Yeah. They will have their in-house broker who works on their behalf, right? Yeah. Now, the difference between an in-house broker and an independent broker is that an in-house broker is only limited to the products that company provides. So Halifax. So if you walk into there and they're offering rates of 2%, but then down the road, Santander is offering rates of 1.5%, they're not going to tell you, oh yeah, you can get a better rate down in Santander for 1.5% and save yourself some money, because what they're doing is they'll probably get sacked for saying that, because they're diverting traffic and business to the competition, right? Yeah. So they're only limited to their products and their services that they offer. Now, an independent broker who works independently will basically have access to a wide range of products. So everyone's products, right? Yeah, all the banks, all the lenders, they'll have access to all that. And their job is to, because they don't work for no one and they work for themselves, to find you the best deal possible. And brokers work in 2 ways. They either work off commission or they charge you a fee, or some charge you a fee and get paid commission as well. Now, the ones I personally like to work with, ones that charge a fee. The reason why I personally like to work with ones that charge a fee is because I feel like they will actively search for the best deal for you, whereas the ones that work based on commission, they're just processors. They're just trying to get through as many as possible, right?
And,
so
and
that they
hope
can,
one comes through.
Right, yeah, so that they can get their commission off of the banks, right? Yeah. So the more they put through, the more commission they're going to get. Whereas an independent broker who works for themselves, right, and isn't commission based purely, they charge you a fee. If you're happy with their fee, they will actively go out there and search for the best deal for you. in the hope that they find you the best deal, you're happy with that, and you use them again, and then you also tell your friends to use them as well. So they're going to make their money off of you, plus they will get their commission off the bank as well.
How important is because you know what really scared me when I used to teach is, if to the extent some adults had no idea what their credit rating were.
Yeah.
How scary is that?
Yeah. People want to own stuff and lease stuff and finance stuff, and you have no idea on what your credit rating is.
It is scary.
Yeah, check your credit rating.
Please, as someone who's into the property world, because essentially credit rating, credit scores is basically boils down to renting a house, because a mortgage is essentially a loan, a big form of loan that the government will give you, or the bank, will give you. So they need to know, is this person reliable? Obviously, when you go in there, you say, yeah, I'm this, I'm that. You could sell them a great story, but they don't care about your story. They're going to look at your credit score, your credit rating. How do you pay things on time? Do you have a credit card? Do you have things on finance, HP? Do you miss payment? How important is credit rating, and why? And what's the first step people can do in order to discover and build it?
Yeah, credit rating is really, really important. And the thing is, with credit rating, if you look at the top 1%, like which is the wealthy people, right? Yeah, everything is built based on credit, right? Yeah, so the banks loan people and businesses money based on credit, right? Yeah, it's all about look at your credit rating as if you would look at your own personal brand. How reputable are you as a person for me to lend this money to you, and for me to be assured and certain that I'm rested in my mind that you're going to pay me back my money? Let me have a look. Have you had a loan before? Oh yeah, you had a loan before. You was paying back on time. Okay, cool. You still had enough money to live on. Okay, cool. Do you know what? You're quite a trustworthy person. I can loan you this money. If you've got nothing on the books and no history, right? Yeah. Then how do I know you are who you say you are and you're going to do what you say you're going to do? I mean, don't get me wrong. Circumstances can change, and it's just like when I vet a tenant. On paper, they can look really, really good, but as you've seen, the pandemic, something like coronavirus can hit, and then boom, that on paper stuff that looked good before no longer looks good anymore because you've now lost your job, so you can't pay me. So, but people need a paper trail for them to be able to trust you. It's just like a CV when you apply for a job. Yeah, I want to do this job. I'm really experienced. Okay, let me have a look at your CV. Oh, but it says here you haven't worked in this industry before. How do I know you know what you're doing? You've got to build up your own brand, your own pedigree. So it's the same with a credit rating. Build it up. And it's quite easy to build it up. The thing is start paying for stuff on credit. Use credit cards. That's what they're there for, As long as you're paying them back on time, cap it at a certain amount of money, right? Yeah, so you don't.
So you shouldn't use over 50% of what you earn on credit.
Yeah.
So if your credit is if you got a credit card for £1,000 simplicity, don't use 500. Use just under 500.
Yeah, because then what they might do, the banks might do, or the lenders might do that is giving you the credit card. They might look at it as like, okay, you clearly need this credit card to survive.
Yes.
To live. So just use what you need to use and pay it back straight away.
Because then they put the stipulations in place, because that's how they do it. And those who know, it's just a game. So
yeah.
So what people say, oh, why don't I use 60%? I can't tell you the whys. It's just the things that works. If you want your credit rating to be high, use 25 to 30% of your credit card. Anything over that, you're actually doing a disservice to your credit score.
Yeah.
What is the easiest way to start building your credit scoring?
Apply for a credit card. I started by, I think my first credit card that I applied for, because growing up where I grew up from, you don't apply for credit cards. You use cash for everything.
Or if you do, the very next day you're maxing out that
exactly.
credit card.
And you're phoning the credit card company and saying, I lost my card. Someone must have used it, in the club. But you just don't use credit cards, But to be honest with you, the first ever credit card I used was, I think it was a Capital One. They're quite easy to get. So you can do a quick search on Money Supermarket and that, and it'll tell you what you're eligible for. And they might just start you off with like a a small amount, £1,000, or even £500. Just use it.
Even to, the smaller amount, the easier it is. Because if you get like a 250 or £500, and if you ever find yourself in a situation where you blow it up £500, at least you only got £500 to pay back, as opposed to if you had £1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000, you will literally go into that 5,000 and paying back, you are in trouble.
Yeah, I would say make it relevant to what you earn, right? So don't go out there and go and get a credit card that's giving you a £5,000 limit and you only take home £1,500 a month. Because if you one day had the urge to blow £5,000 or £4,000, the next month you ain't going to be able to pay it back anyway. So go out, get something that's relative to what you earn every single month, or even lower, like a lot lower than what you earn every single month, so that you can cover it.
Yeah, that's true. And you've got some people out there saying, well, I don't have a credit card. My credit rating is that bad. Well, there's another way. You can actually go and buy things on HP, high purchase.
Yeah.
You can go into as little as you can go to Argos, buy a camera for £50, let's say, and say you're going to pay back in 4 months in installment. That's building a credit score.
Yeah, it is actually. Any one of them stores, they do offer, obviously, and some of them offer no interest.
Yeah.
Even DFS, right? Going to get a sofa, and 0% interest, like for the first year. Just pay it off, little things, man, microwaves, whatever you need, mobile phones, those sort of things. They're all building your credit rating.
Because all the bank would want is, can this person pay our money back? Yeah. And as you alluded to, we're going to look at the paper trail. Yes, he can. Yes, she can. Come in. On the flip side, which is weird, a bad credit score is better than not having one at all.
Yeah.
But obviously that comes with its own troubles, because the worse your credit score is, the higher the interest people will give you.
Yeah.
So how can people, what advice would you give people to maintain a good credit score and not really go and blow it and use it wisely?
Don't live above your means. That's as simple as it can be. Like, don't live above your means. If you get a credit card, know the reason why you're getting this credit card. If it's just purely to build your credit rating and your credit score, then never forget the mission. This is the reason why I've got it. I haven't got it to go and buy things that I can't afford. I haven't got it to go and buy things to make me look like I've got money. I've got it purely to build my credit rating. So I'm going to spend little by little on this just to pay and pay and pay to build my credit rating.
That's amazing, which is one of the four things I always abide by. Work, save, invest, and simplification. And simplification simply means live within your means. If you can't afford those expensive pair of trainers, leave them alone till the day that you can. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no point you trying to show off to people that I can do this. And theoretically, a lot of people got their own problems. They don't care.
Yeah.
If I see you wearing nice trainers, like, wow, nice trainers, wow, amazing. 40 seconds later, that's vanished.
This is the thing. You think people care, but they actually don't. Because like you just said, like 40 seconds later, it's vanished. That thought has gone from their head. So, it's only what's in your head and what you believe people are believing, but no one cares. And at the end of the day, those people are not going to help you pay back that credit card. So why are you doing it to impress them?
Yeah. So once we get the credit card, we're on credit rating. How important is it to own a property, would you say, in the long term? Or do you think it's not as important as people think, or the old school mentality way of saying, well, you have to get a house?
Yeah, I would say it all depends on what your mission and your goal is in your life right now. I know, coming from where I come from, passed down from obviously our mums, our dads, our grandmothers, generations. If you was lucky enough for them to be homeowners, they drum it into you that, yes, the traditional thing to do is go to school, get a good education, get a job, buy a property, get married, have kids, then what, right? If you're happy with that, then, and that's your mission in life, then it's up to you how important you hold that mission, right here in your heart. I need to get a property because I want to own it. But what for? Like, why do you want to own a property? You know, there's some countries like I swear it's France, right? Yeah, that more people rent in France than they do own properties. Now, the thing is you own that property, which is essentially giving you a roof over your head and it's providing a home for your family, right? But then what's the difference of you renting a property? You still got a roof over your head and providing a home for your family. So it all depends on how important you hold that to yourself. Now, for me, my vision and my goal is the reason why I want to own properties is because I didn't follow the traditional route of going to get a good job, paying into a pension. So where is my pension when I finish working? What am I going to do? I don't want to have to work beyond retirement age. I don't want to have to go and get a second income, right? Like, for example, driving a delivery van. No disrespect to anyone that's doing that. I'm talking about, or working in a warehouse when I hit my 60s and doing those back-breaking jobs to subsidize my income and bring in a little bit more so I can provide for my family because I didn't pay into a pension, you know, or I didn't work for a good company that looked after me, because no company is going to look after you. Now, we're out of that industrial age. You know, the only person that's responsible for your own personal finance is you. So you need to take care of it. Don't think your government are going to look after you when you're older. Don't think your company is going to look after you. So for me, it's like, okay, how can I ensure that I maintain this lifestyle that I'm living now, or even better lifestyle when I'm older, and make sure that it's passed on to my kids and you know, my family's good. Okay, the only thing that I can think of is let me buy and hold property for the long term so that when it's all said and done and I'm finished, this is my income here. This is my income, because everything is going up in the world, inflation. So a pint of milk is not going to be the same price that it is now in the next 20, 30 years when I decide to retire. So how can I ensure that I can still buy these things and it's okay for me to do it without me having to pocket watch?
Wow. 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 Well, wow. Basically, it's as simple as this. If you find yourself in, despite what is even going on at the moment, because I believe there's a recession yet to come, if you find yourself in the worst financial situation you've ever found yourself, not all, a few are an exception, but the majority of people, it's because of what you did 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. So fast forwarding to what you're saying, you starting right now. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ages, start right now. As Marcus said, in the future, you don't then want to be looking for a difficult job, which even further than that, I believe machines will be running most of the work that we're doing.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, look, they've got, is it Amazon Fresh?
Amazon
in
Fresh
Ealing,
in
you know?
Ealing.
Yeah.
I'm yet to visit that.
Yeah.
Have you been? Have you been? No, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they must have thought of security. There must
Yeah.
be. I don't think you can just walk in, take stuff and walk out.
The thing is they'll figure that out. Like the thing is it's all about like these business models, right? Yeah, and these people that design these businesses,
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. And the thing is they don't wait. They start now and get perfect later. They adjust it, tweak it a little bit more until it gets perfect. The first iPhone that was made was not perfect. Hence, we have iPhone 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't even know what iPhone we're on now, but every single iPhone that has come out can do something better than what the previous iPhone could do, you know? And like you said, machines are taking people's jobs, you know? If you look at a company's bottom line, right, yeah, staff are a cost. Machines don't cost nothing apart from to service them, right, yeah? So you don't pay them a wage. So if they can do what humans can do and a company can save money, then why not
It's
use
not
the machines?
personal.
Yeah, it's not personal. It's just business. And that's why I say you as a person are responsible for your own personal finances. The choices that you make will determine what the situation is for you in 6 months' time or 3 months' time. So, you know, you have to just make better choices. And that's what I started doing.
Jeez, well, you're on the right path, and trust me, you've inspired me. Right now, I've got 3 people I'm going to make a phone call with, and I've got 1 person I'm going to sit down after the show, which is yourself, and we're going to see how, you know. No, that is very powerful. So what advice would you give to someone out there who's literally turning 16 or around 16 years, between 16 and 18? What advice would you give them?
I would say if I could speak to my former self at 16, I'd just say I'd take my advice and be like, you know what, time waits for no man, and if there's something that you want to do, you have to do it, and don't say I'm gonna do it next year or next week or I got time to do it, because there is no time. Like it just keeps on moving. Time is just something that just keeps on ticking, and before you know it, you look back and you'll be like, wow, where did 10 years go? What have I done in 10 years that has changed my position or elevated me as a person? And it's only when you look back, and then more time when you look back, it's like, I can't get them 10 years back.
They're gone.
Yeah, it's gone. So like I said previously, time is the most precious commodity in the whole world, right? Yeah? No amount of money can buy it back. So therefore, don't waste your time.
Jesus.
Yeah. And it's not just about investing. I'm talking about because some 16-year-olds, they don't want to be investors. They don't want to invest. That was just the route that I chose because I wasn't disciplined enough to stick to the other things that I was doing. So if you're 16 and you're doing something, whether it's you're doing music, you're doing acting, you're going to uni and you're looking to become a doctor or whatever it is you want to do, stick with it, stay disciplined, stay focused, and stay in your lane. Don't look at anyone else because their chapter 22 might look different from your chapter 2.
Yes.
So yeah.
Facts. Stay in your lane. Yeah. Word of the show. That's what we should do. We should find word of the show. Word of the show in this show is stay in your lane. Huh? Yes.
Yeah. Stay in your financial lane.
Oh yes.
There you go.
I like that. So this is the part of the show which I like. You close it. That's your camera. Close it however you want to close it. You want to drop some bars, you want to sing, you want to dance, you want to give further advice, whatever you want to get off your chest, it's yours.
How do I close the show? You put me on the spot
now,
on it.
Yeah, I like this part.
Yeah, I would say, you know what, guys, look, it's all good me sitting here and talking, and some of you might be motivated by it and inspired by it, some of you might not, but the reality is, all these motivational talks that you listen to and that you hear, right here, it will gas you up. It will spark you for like a few seconds or maybe even a day. But ultimately, right here, the thoughts and the energy that you put into yourself, you should use that as your own motivation, so you should be your only form of motivation. Boom.
Wow. Another word of the show. Be your only form of motivation. That is beautiful. Yeah. Marcus, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
I have been your guest. He has been the host. Ladies and gentlemen, till next time, and thank you for conversating with Mr. Koh. Love, peace, and happiness.
Boom.
Boom.